Here's a rewritten version with a more polished, cinematic, and emotionally engaging narrative style. The clock on the wall read 4:07 a.m. Headlights swept across the living room wall, cutting through the darkness before fading away. Moments later, the front door opened. She stepped inside. Her heels dangled from one hand. Her makeup was smudged. Her hair was a mess. She looked like someone carrying a secret too heavy to hide anymore. Then she saw me sitting on the couch. She froze. For a second, neither of us spoke. Finally, her voice broke the silence. Don't ask. I didn't. Because I already knew. After 7 years of marriage, you learn someone's patterns. You memorize their habits, their routines, even the pauses between their words when they're hiding something. Once, she had been my peace. We built a life together filled with laughter, Sunday morning pancakes, inside jokes, and what I believed was honesty. But sometimes the most beautiful illusions are the ones closest to breaking. It started with little things. Late meetings. New perfume. A smile that appeared whenever she mentioned work. And one name that seemed to come up more than any other. Ethan. At first, I ignored it. Trust makes you blind in ways suspicion never can. You tell yourself every strange detail has a reasonable explanation. Until the details start connecting. The first crack appeared 2 months before that night. Her phone buzzed while she was in the shower. The screen lit up. A message preview appeared. Last night was worth the risk. Same place next week. I stared at those words while water continued running behind the bathroom door. Something inside me sank. But I said nothing. No confrontation. No accusations. No dramatic scene. Instead, I became patient. I archived the message. I gathered information. And I let her believe I knew nothing. Over the following weeks, I uncovered everything. Texts. Photos. Call logs. Hotel receipts hidden behind fake names. She thought she was careful. She wasn't. People living double lives always leave traces. And eventually those traces become a trail. What hurt wasn't only the betrayal. It was the confidence behind it. The ease with which she looked into my eyes and lied. The way she smiled across the dinner table while carrying secrets home every night. That's when the pain changed. It stopped being pain. It became focus. Quiet. Calculated. Precise. I documented everything. Backed up every piece of evidence. Consulted an attorney. Protected my finances. Prepared for every possible outcome. By the time she claimed she was working late with her team, I already knew exactly where she would be. The hotel. The room number. The check-in time. Still, I didn't go. I wanted her comfortable. I wanted her convinced she was safe. That night, before she returned home, I sent a message from her phone. To Ethan. Come by the house tomorrow morning. We need to talk. Urgent. His reply came almost immediately. Are you sure? I thought we agreed to keep this away from home. I never answered. I didn't need to. Hours later, she walked through the front door. Tired. Disheveled. Guilty. Don't ask, she whispered. I stood, kissed her forehead, and smiled. Go get some rest. She disappeared into the bedroom. I stayed awake. Waiting. At exactly 9 a.m., the doorbell rang. She wandered into the kitchen wearing a robe, still half asleep. Who's that? She asked. I shrugged. Why don't you find out? Asterisk. She opened the door. And there he was. Ethan. Standing on the porch. Nervous. Confused. The moment his eyes met hers, panic spread across both their faces. Neither of them expected to see the other there. Neither expected to see me sitting calmly in the living room. Coffee in hand. Waiting. Morning, I said. The silence that followed was deafening. I slid a folder onto the coffee table. Inside were photographs, screenshots, receipts, and records. Proof. Enough proof to end every lie in that room. Neither of them spoke. Before they could, I did. Asterisk, everything in this folder has already been sent to my attorney. Asterisk. I paused. Asterisk, and to your company's HR department. Asterisk. Her face turned white. Asterisk, you did what? Asterisk. Asterisk, why? Asterisk. I leaned back. Asterisk, because you asked me not to ask. Asterisk. Tears filled her eyes. Asterisk, please, we can talk about this. Asterisk. I shook my head. Asterisk, there's nothing left to discuss. Asterisk. I explained everything calmly. The divorce papers. The financial protections. The evidence. Every step had already been taken. Every decision had already been made. Ethan mumbled something about leaving. I didn't stop him. Watching him walk away was punishment enough. When the door closed behind him, she finally broke down. Not because she had been caught. But because she had lost control. You planned all of this, she whispered. I nodded. Asterisk, every step. Asterisk. She sank to the floor. For a long moment, I simply looked at her. The woman I once loved. The woman who once filled this house with laughter. Now sitting among the ruins of her own choices. And in that moment, I understood something. She hadn't destroyed our marriage in a single night. She had dismantled it piece by piece. Lie by lie. Choice by choice. Assuming I would never notice. Assuming I would never rebuild. She was wrong. Later that afternoon, after everything was finalized, I handed her the keys to her car. No yelling. No revenge. No cruelty. Just closure. You wanted freedom, I said. Asterisk, now you have it. Asterisk. She opened her mouth to speak. I closed the door before she could. The house has been quiet ever since. No perfume lingering in the hallways. No half-truths whispered in the dark. Just silence. Honest silence. The kind that comes after a storm has finally passed. Sometimes I still think about that night. The moment she stood in the doorway and whispered. Asterisk, don't ask. Asterisk. And every time, I smile. Because she was right. I didn't ask. I acted. And in the end, that made all the difference. This version keeps the same story but improves pacing, suspense, emotional impact, and readability, making it feel more like a professional YouTube narration or short story script.